Samla. Welcome back to Tom Plays EUIV Universalis 4 for absolute beginners. We're back with the Ottomans and we're having money problems, and I was just going to have a look at trade. So it's not something we've looked at much so far, but let's first look at the trade screen. That's this one. So we have a choice about where to send traders. We haven't really had much of a look at this. We mostly come here for embargoing people, just to check that we're doing it. You should always embargo your rivals. And apart from that, hasn't been a lot going on. But if you look at this in combination with the trade map, which is down here, these are all the different maps you can have. You can actually make new ones, but we haven't had a lot of use of these so far. But if you look at the trade map, the world is separated into these different trade regions, different trade provinces, of which the core is the main trading port. So one of them is Constantinople, and we basically own Constantinople. It actually looks like some of this goes a bit into Hungary's lands, so we don't entirely own it. So usually what you do, well, let's just look at the map a bit further. What you will notice is that there's a bunch of... nice. Don't really need mercenaries, but appreciate it. You can see trade flowing from one node to the next. So unfortunately, a lot of our trade is actually flowing out towards Ragusa. Now in theory, we also own Ragusa, so it's not too big a problem, but from there it's also flowing out to Venice and over here to Wien. So ideally we don't like having trade flowing out, and what you will find if you choose a trade port is that some of the trade value is being retained, and some of it, very little in this case, is being moved forward to the next trade node. So when we mostly own a trade node, we want to prevent it being pulled forward, generally. In this case, all of the trade in Ragusa is being pulled forward to Venice, which is not what we want. That's absolutely terrible for us. Because if you look here, trade power, we have 36% of the trade power in Ragusa. There's quite a few people with a stake in Ragusa. Compare that to Constantinople, where we have nearly all of the trade power, but Hungary has some lands up here. Okay, so what we have at the moment is where we go back to the trade screen. So we don't actually have anyone in Constantinople. We probably don't need anyone in Constantinople. This is usually the one place you'll have someone collecting from trade. So that would basically push up the amount that was retained, I think, and it would increase our trade power. Increasing trade power is also, I think, what marketplaces do. So in theory, once we've taken over Hungarian land, marketplaces in Constantinople would become useless. And I don't think we really need to collect from trade, because nearly all the trade value is being retained anyway. So it'd almost be better to collect from trade in Ragusa, where there's no trade value being retained. The general wisdom is that it's only worth collecting from trade in your home node, which for us is Constantinople. Not sure if that's true. It might be something to experiment with here. Okay, so our merchants. What our merchants are currently doing is we have two merchants, and I think they were more or less started at the beginning of the game by default. And they're doing the opposite. They're deliberately forwarding trade. So we've got one in Aleppo, which is here, and our merchant is right here. It's steering trade towards Constantinople. So they're increasing the value of trade here, which is always good from our point of view. So if we look here, we actually have 75% of the trade power, and all of the trade power is being steered forward. It's not all going to Constantinople. You can actually see here how it's being divided. So presumably there are other merchants who are steering trade towards Alexandria, probably the Mamluks. So here in Alexandria we actually have our other merchant who's trying to steer trade towards Constantinople. However, there are some nations with a lot of interest in the Genoa trade node, so I think there's a few people steering trade towards Genoa. And of course we don't have that much trade power here. 7%. That will increase as we take over more of Egypt especially. So we are going to improve that. So what could we do to improve our monetary situation? Well, an obvious one to me would be Crimea, the Crimea trade node. We have a lot of a trade power. Very little is being retained, and if you look here, all of the trade that isn't being retained is being sent out of our empire towards Kiev. So obviously the Russians have a lot of interest in that. So I think we should send a merchant to transfer trade power to Constantinople, and they'll automatically do it to the best place for us. So there's two places you can do it. You can do it in the trade node itself, or you can do it on the trade screen. In which case you choose send, and you've got two options. You can send to collect from trade. This is Ali Karamanli currently not doing anything. Or we can do transfer trade power. You almost always want transfer trade power. So the final thing I do like to do, we can send him now, transfer trade power, because it will take a while for him to arrive. We'll get a little tick here and that number will change. What I do like to do is keep an eye on our money, because ultimately a lot of people have theories. You can find some very good explanations of how trade works in EU4 on YouTube and on the wiki pages and everywhere, but to me the proof is in the pudding. So especially if our income is otherwise relatively stable, I like to just keep an eye on whether our money goes up when we make a change with the trade. So we now have a merchant, but we're not seeing any money come. There we go. And if you notice, our money has increased enormously. I mean, it's practically multiplied by 3. So having that merchant there is well worth it. And this is why, especially towards the late game when trade becomes so important, having merchants is really valuable. Unfortunately, as the Ottomans, we're mostly a conquering nation rather than a trade nation. So merchants isn't really our top thing. We could change that by choosing, when we get to unlock ideas, by choosing the trade ideas. It's more likely we'll go for diplomatic because they're so useful in terms of us claiming new territories and not getting everyone angry with us. So as long as we have enough money for our conquering, we're probably not too worried about trade ideas. But it is a good way to pick up money if you need it, along with economic ideas. Economics probably better in the early game, trade ideas probably better in the late game. But yeah, merchants well worth it, and as we do trading in colonial nations, we'll be caring an awful lot about this. Whereas, so the Ottomans, a lot of the time, you could probably just go onto the trade node, pick the nearby nations, and send people to steer trade. Now what have we got? Unhappiness among the clergy. I could use the prestige, to be honest. I'm going to ignore the demands. It'll make them disloyal for a bit, but they will get over it. So yeah, I suppose the interesting one in this case will be Ragasa. Ragasa, there would be no point steering trade, because nothing comes out of Ragasa to go towards any areas we control. The only thing we can do with Ragasa is collect from trade. Might be worth it, might not. It might be something we could try. At the moment, I'm probably more interested in steering trade from these other provinces. Mostly to prevent it all going... I don't know, because you do have to wonder, because we do control a lot of the trade here. Maybe as we gain more control in Alexandria, it might be worth moving these to Ragasa. Because Ragasa at the moment, we seem to be getting pretty much nothing. I mean, this is really terrible. And considering we've got 37% of the trade power, maybe it would be more worth collecting. But then we are steering quite a lot of trade to Constantinople there. Maybe once we've got more power in Alexandria, so it doesn't matter if it goes to Constantinople directly or goes via Alexandria, it might be worth us moving that merchant to collect trade in Ragasa and see whether that changes the money. Alternatively, if we do get another merchant at any point, we should definitely try that. I think it's worth trying. But anyway, so we're looking a lot better financially now. So we're hoping Hungary are going to deal with their debts so that they will come into a war with Russia, which they actually would now, and we will then be able to take some of these lands we have claims from. So who else is an ally of Russia? Livonian Order. Okay, got no real interest in them. I think they're not there. Oh, they're up here. So they're a decent size, but we're not really interested. What is worrying me is technology, because for quite a while we've had institution penalties. It took us forever to embrace global trade. We've still got a tech penalty now from manufacturers, although hopefully we'll be able to embrace that faster than some other nations. See Hungary aren't making great strides towards it yet, as it is, because we've at least got it on the way. I see Sinjar's got it on the way, so presumably their manufacture has been finished, and they're already on 21%, so that's good progress. However, in terms of actual technology, we are on 22 for military. Nice. Hungary are only on 21. Okay, that's way better than I expected. Russia on 21. I'm surprised. I'm genuinely surprised. I thought Hungary would be ahead of us by now. Okay, so in terms of other things we can do, it would be good if we could increase the size of our armies a little. We are still lagging massively behind on how big our armies are allowed to be. So admittedly we've got mothballed forts right now, but at the same time I don't think there's anything stopping us building some additional infantry. So I think our armies are now on 55, so if we build 5 infantry per army, then each army will become 60. I do like my nice round numbers. I just think it puts us in a better position. That's that thing that's unacceptable again. More prestige, which is great. Get some nice benefits from the prestige. Legitimacy, power production, excellent. Just going to improve relations with Bohemia again. A bit disappointed by how few claims we managed to get on Russia when I was looking at it. Oh, it looks like we might have a claim already, to be fair. Okay. How about Hungary? I think we were still looking at a claim on them. So they're in similar positions, I think. Okay, we have a slight penalty, but I think we should still be claiming technology when we can get it. A bit behind on administrative because our last idea was administrative. So that's fair enough. Quite ahead on the other two, which is good. Obviously not as far ahead as I would like. So yeah, we should have 2 mini armies of 30 now. In every region. Realistically, I'm going to need to start bringing this army up. Okay. So, we need 30 for another claim on Russia. We need 45 for another claim on Hungary. I don't really think we need our navy for this one. Hungary. Let's fabricate another claim. It's hard to know really, maybe this one? Keep feeling we'll probably get mission trees over there. So we might not get one for this province. We might. Maybe we will get mission trees wherever we go. So So yeah, we're going to have to absolutely crush Hungary insofar as we can. I'm not going to be able to claim Chelyabinsk. So what could we claim? Alatur. Let's keep our lands roughly together. Okay, brilliant. Right, so I'm going to set this army off going. So I want you to head up here, and you to head up to the actual fort. So what are we going to be dealing with? We do need to stump Hungary as much as we can, although we will hopefully have Bohemia and Poland. We're extremely lucky. Let's improve relations with Poland again. So yeah, that probably isn't a huge problem. Might actually make a few more infantry. Number 5. I'm just thinking our manpower actually looks quite good at the moment. It's good enough that it's been measured in Ks. So while we have the time, I didn't just lose a claim, did I? I'm not sure. Never mind, if I did, not much we can do about it. I'm going to bring these armies together anyway, so it doesn't really matter where we send the extras, because I intend to combine them for the fight. I think that's going to be it. So let's hope Hungary is no longer in debt and will be up for helping Russia with their fight. Then let's get started. Second war with Hungary, even if we're having to do it indirectly. So we took Venice out, so we're taking quite a bit of damage now because our armies are much bigger. Got Riga. I think they're small as well, and in any case we've got Poland and Bohemia. Let's do it. Okay, so I'm going to start the attack on Hungary by taking both of those forts. Russia I'm less confident with, but let's take... Do I want to take Smolensk, or do I want to be in Russia but start on Hungary? Might start on Hungary and we'll see what armies Russia comes up with. Obviously a little nervous about the Hungarian armies. Well, I'm nervous about the Russian armies as well, to be fair. It's still pretty enormous. So yeah, ideally, in any case, because we're attacking Russia, what we would want to do is crush their allies as soon as possible. Not going to be easy to crush Hungary. To crush the allies I can't get at for Livonian Order and Riga, which I'm sure is up there somewhere. Never mind, I'm not going to worry about them right now. What I am going to do is, as soon as I've taken this land here, I'm going to pull my army out and head off after the Russian army. Maybe. Yeah, I should be big enough to take them on. Just whether they've got another army coming. If they do have another army coming. Right, let me head over there to at least make life more difficult for them while I'm crushing Hungary. If those armies combine, I'm going to need another one of these armies to counteract them. Is the problem. I think they're going to combine, aren't they? Right, okay, in that case I'm going to ignore them. I'm going to take some more land from Hungary, and as soon as one of these sieges is done, I'm going to free up an army to attack Russia. Hopefully it won't take too long. Wonderful, no one wants to do honest work anymore. Yep, Russia are going to have free reign in my lands for a bit, and they're going to seriously crush my vassals, unfortunately. Oh, they're all joining in. This isn't good. Come on guys, I need you to finish your siege. That's what we wanted. Right. You go there, you go there. I'm going to have these armies separate but next to each other, and hopefully we can mow down the Russian forces. So it looks like Bohemia's getting right into Hungary. How much money are we losing? Too much. Let's raise war taxes. Looks like they've split a bit at least. Okay, excellent. I think we can risk splitting up. So we basically want Hungary to be completely taken over, because they're the real objective, and we have quite a lot of claims on Hungary thanks to the mission tree, and ideally we want to fulfill every mission tree we can. So the missions are Wallachia, which is just those two provinces which we already have, Bosnia. So we need to get our armies down to Bosnia. For good measure, probably going to where's our army gone? Tell you what, let's just head straight into the middle of them. Try and cause some chaos if we can. Decent sized Hungarian army there. Might need to go and fight it. However, to start with, let's make life miserable for the Russians. So you've got your armies here. But how are you going to escape is what I would most like to know. How are you doing? 14th. Always a good sign when the enemy's running away. 18th of June, we're getting there. Great. Okay then. Looks like they want to have the big war right here. We still won though. We definitely still won. Take a look. How are we doing up here though? Not as well. Right. Okay, that's fine. Is there anyone left down there? There isn't. So let's just take those lands back if we can. And then we'll start pursuing the Russian army. I'm going to bring these armies back together if possible. Okay, well, we're going to go straight into Russian... No, hang on, that's Ottoman land. Everyone's green. It's making it difficult to work out who's who. Might be reforming this army so we can take on that Hungarian army there. Forget it, let's go straight in. Land clearance. Works for me. I'm game for a bit of land clearance. Okay, so they will either stop besieging Poland or they will hopefully get crushed. Right, so I'll send you to Moscow. Send you to Ryazan. Hopefully that will do it. Looks like they have decided on the running away option. Not happy with the fact that they're taking out a lot of the vassals. Still, never mind. We've won the siege of Krakow, which is good. Let's go take them out. Excellent. Apparently they wanted another big pitched battle. I'm probably up for that, given I have reinforcements on the way as well. It'd be nice if they arrived in time, of course. There we go. That was scary. Anyway. Get those castles. That's a good start. I'm hoping no guy will at least be able to start freeing up their own lands again. But we'll see. We shall see. Okay, hopefully because all of these lands are adjacent to ones we've taken rather than ones Bohemia have taken, we will still get the claims on them when it comes time to do the war score. Oh, looks like you're nearly done anyway. May as well take some of the lands around. we doing with Russia? Keep expecting them to slip around us and start attacking again. There goes the Livonian order. Can't blame them for the Fabian strategy, really. It's not like they can beat us head on. Oh, damn it. I actually want you to move. Never mind, seeing as you have moved, I'll let you go there. I want to make sure we get those claims rather than Poland. Not to be mean to Poland or anything, I'm just concerned we may end up having claims on them anyway, and then we'll have to fight Poland for them. You wouldn't like. Looks like Russia is once again marauding. Really need these sieges to finish so we can head down there. Okay, so even though apparently the Devshirm tradition has ended, the Janissaries still expect us to give them a huge pile of cash every time we have a new ruler. Okay, someone who's great at administration, not very good at war. A little unfortunate. So we could do with a better military advisor, really. Well, we can have extra morale. Not better in the sense of gaining us extra points, but let's enforce religious unity and game. Okay, I really need both of these armies. I don't want to send one down on their own. Without meaning to. How's Hungary looking? Well, they're almost completely crushed. Are any of the other nations? No, it looks like it's just Hungary. Everyone else is perfectly up for fighting. Come on, Moskva. Great. Rifle claims. We'll lose 10 prestige. That's alright, we're probably about to gain a load. It's going to help with that siege. While we're waiting, in which case we might have the option to raise additional levies. Oh no, we just didn't lose any loyalty. Haven't gained any, but we could ask for a contribution from the merchants, so that's something. This looks good. On the siege of Moscow. That is definitely what I wanted. Right, are they? Yeah, they're heading down there as well. Okay, so we need to, if possible, liberate Crimea first. Actually, let's move. Not quite finished with the alert. Oi. Let's start on the inland lands. There's more chance of a vassal coming along and doing this one for us. So as soon as Moskva looks like they're getting towards it, I may give up on this siege and go help. Although unfortunately the vassals look like they're leaving me to the siege now. Good. Okay, well in that case, let's try and finish. Excellent. Siege finished. That's all we wanted. So you can both head down there and deal with that part of the army. And then we need to head down here. Sort them out again. What are you offering? I'm sure your offering's pretty good. That bodes well. So, that was the mighty Hungarian army. Now we need to go take care of all the rest. This looks good though. Got a fair bit of inroads into Russia. Gain some prestige back, which is good. Lost the siege of Lachia. Well, we have, but I'm not going to panic just yet. Because that army also looks a little trapped to me. See how we do, obviously, but I think if we play our cards right, we can take out most of the Russians. Move this army over here. These armies down, so I think I've got them blockaded in now, because they won't be able to get past that fort too easily, I would think. Okay, only one piece of Hungarian land still to take. So let's move you down, move you down. You're going to be able to take it before we take you. I guess I'll leave you to it. If that's what you want to do. Hopefully we will be accepting surrender from Hungary any second. Okay. That's a little worrying, but not as worrying as it should have been. Fair enough. Let's start a siege. It looks like we're going to win this. We're just the one army. They're obviously fleeing. Don't blame them. Let's try to catch them if we can. I'm not complaining about that, considering you're kind of under attack anyway. Okay then, Hungary. The time has come. What can I get out of you? Looks like I can get all the lands that I had claims on. So let's accept that. That's good. That is good. I am very happy about that. let's go attack some Russian castles. Okay, so we fulfilled. We have conquered Bosnia and conquered Wallachia. So we've got control of the Danube and conquer Transylvania now, which I think again are going to be Hungary. May turn out to be wrong, but we shall see. Okay, so if you go there, you join them, put you back together, and then I'll set you to work on some Russian forts. In the meantime, we have a siege to worry about, so I might even tell you what, let's take something on here. Can't be that hemmed in, surely. Never mind, let's just help with a siege. We'll just take an overwhelming force there, and then we'll get back to pursuing the armies. So, Hungary wants out. Livonian Order may actually want out now. So let's give that a try. No. Not yet. You see, Poland, this would be your cue to take some Livonian Order lands. Oh, maybe they can't, maybe they're too far away. Can't be helped then, I suppose. I can't help feeling like this castle should fall soon. There we go. Yep, I don't mind Pomerania going through. Oh, we need to call the Hungarian land. Need to deal with the increased corruption as well now we've taken them. I have a feeling this war might take a bit of recovering from. Never mind. Actually, thinking about it, we don't have that many claims on Russia. Maybe we should consider suing for peace with Russia. Into Poland, Australia to Teutonic Order. Well, I don't care about either of those, but sure. Let's end the war here. Definitely mothball forts. Where does that leave us money-wise? Still losing money rather quickly. Okay, so I kind of accepted that one because Russia wasn't really the main objective, it was Hungary. So didn't want to drag the war out any longer really, just to gain extra Russian land. So I'm thinking that once Kazan falls finally, we may start attacking Russia in earnest. So we'll be more interested in claiming their land then. It looks like the vassals are actually handling their own separatists. I have to say, I thoroughly approve. Definitely going to need to split all the armies up. So if I split you, I could do with sending you over here really. So I might be able to help with the separatists. Okay, brilliant. Right, well, let's knock army maintenance down at least enough so that we're making money instead of losing it. Okay, brilliant. So what's next? Mamluks will be the next nation that we look at. So we might want to make some claims on their allies. I don't think we need any more claims on the Mamluks themselves. That's actually looking quite ridiculous. And we might want to improve relations with the Timurids. So there's a bit of aftermath to deal with, but I think that should really wait for next time. But yeah, not bad. Fulfilled 2 of our missions. Severely reduced the size of Hungary. And Poland, I think, gained a little bit of extra land from Russia there, so that's good. We've eaten into Russia a bit further. More importantly, we're much further to the east. We're almost within reach of the Kazakhs now. So we might have choices of people other than Russia to make a war with, which would be nice. I don't really like fighting Russia that much. Looks like Finland actually did manage to become an independent country. Good for them. I'm not sure if that wasn't a bit... Oh no, there's Sweden down there, so that's good. All the Scandinavian states are sort of back. Finland does need to grow a bit. Yeah, it's interesting, that bit about giving land to the Teutonic Order, but I suppose if nothing else it brings another player into the game. Makes life a little bit more difficult for everyone. So yeah, next time I suppose we'll be preparing for the Mamluks. I'll probably take down those separatists because no guy seems reluctant. And what am I there for if not to help them out? Should probably separate them. Oh, wrong way around. So the general ones. So yeah, brilliant. I think a bit more progress, so getting in a bigger screen soon. I will see you next time.